Upon an ancient prime, one long forgotten to the gods, the war against the Nameless One had also been waged. But here, their outlook was very different. It was a prime filled with souls who fought tooth and nail against his horrors. And as it turned out, it was in the literal sense of the phrase. For they themselves were of the plains, and as such shared much in common with their enemy. They were transplanted, all of those who had survived the onslaught to that point, but no consideration was given to their natures, and with these creatures came great woe. These creatures were imbued by a god long forgotten, and the true prime knew nothing of this one's existence. But once upon the new prime, it became very evident that a mistake had been made, and this became known as the first time of darkness, the end of what the denizens had referred to as their golden age. Upon arrival in their new home, they changed almost immediately, their bodies becoming less powerful, although still retaining their link to the power that was gifting them their blessings. This was not supposed to be possible, and yet it was happening all the same. They quickly set about building a vast structure, almost a mile across, and they all resided within this twisting complexity. It was constructed rapidly using their elemental atonement with the earth, another surprise that had been unknown. Such power was not supposed to be possible, as the elemental planes, along with all others bar the astral, were not touching the prime, thereby meaning such feats should not be able to take place, and yet they were, and this was something that was soon to be explained. Upon residing within their structure for a few weeks, and turning all away who had tried to welcome them, something new was sensed by those with the capacity, something unusual for this place. The original denizens felt it and were intrigued, as the last time new and strange magic had arrived, it had come along with the less newcomers. And this was an alluring and heady sense of sheer power, but of seemingly many types rolled into one. The fallen gods of the other prime, however, recognized many of these flavors of magic, and knew that what was happening was very, very bad. They warned all that they could, but without their power, and with little aid to their cause militarily, it was over fast. The builders of this intricate structure were, like them, gifted by a god. They sensed as such, but they were somehow more, somehow retaining their powers here. The how became apparent when an immense formless cloud was seen rising from the structure which was harnessing the lines of force it lay upon. Upon the night where the cloud first manifested, the skies were devoid of all stars, as though they were all taken from view, or something had held a black cloth to the sky. As this took place, several pieces of rock streamed through the skies, rippling with a fire only visible to those of divine nature, and of those who could see such, it was feared the very stars were falling. However, at this time, there were so very few who had such a gift present, that these falling stones from the heavens were mostly unseen. It was inconsequential to what was about to happen, but was of great import in later times. Gigantic figures emerged from the cloud, and they were nightmarish in design, sharp edges and pointed horns adorning their twisting features. The denizens had carried their power within them, masking it within their divinely blessed forms, as the Nameless One had been known to do with their own host shell. They had carried their gods with them, and now their gods, after feeding upon the rich magic of this prime, were free once more. They were something long lost, long forgotten. They were part of the daemonic pantheon, and they had found a new place to call their own. They needed no link to the one known as Krillsis, for they had achieved their godhood through other means. They had been daemon, and now held divinity somehow, but none here knew of their true origins. Not that it would have helped combat what transpired. They each moved to a city, crafting demonic creatures in their image as their powers raised, and each taking a city by force only if it was needed, slaying any direct opposition as they went. They conquered the civilizations of this prime in scant months, despite any resistance that was mounted, as this prime had no defense against their kind. This was a daemon's prime paradise, only they did not intend to strip it bare and consume the power that lay here, or even the souls that dwelled, unless of course they fought back. They had other plans. They were unable to be reasoned with, as their cause was simply to amass more power, gain more followers to their cause, and enslave this prime as their own to fuel their plans. The fallen gods from the other prime went into hiding, although many were discovered and paraded around for their new master's pleasure. Whipped, cut, and ridiculed, made to endure public torture, but never actually killing any of them. Why no killing of these ones? Simply put, they needed them. They needed them to pierce the veil, to push through the astral and into the planes, so that they could draw more power from them and further extend their dominion. They needed them for ritual sacrifice.